Okay. This is like really awkward video for me to film. And like it probably shouldn't be, but like I feel so awkward. Hi. Welcome to my channel. This is honestly just me being myself, awkward and not knowing what to do. But also my hair is so greasy because I'm crusted, busted, and dusted because senior year of college last semester, I'm dead inside and like probably on the outside. But I'm also like tanner because tanning makes me happy. It's not real tan because real tanning can really harm you. It's fake, probably not any better to put like a ton of chemicals on your body, especially because I'm learning about parabens and like parabens are really bad for you, and I think a lot of self-tanners have them. So today is a really personal video, I would say. Yeah, I feel like personal is probably the best word to use. It's personal because I don't know if this is going to go up before on the day 460th or after, but as of right now, I think I'm almost positive I have like 58 videos on my channel. And if you watch my first one, I said that I had to film at least 60 videos because like the light cost 60, and so 60 is coming up. And I started this channel because I wanted to make a difference somewhere in life somehow, and also for like fun. But in the back of my mind, I had always created it because I want to help people. It's like my biggest thing in life. I've always just wanted to help people, and I specifically really want to help kids because I think kids really deserve it, like people with cancer and MS. But the people who I specifically started out my channel to help were people who had eating disorders, and I always wanted to help them because I have an eating disorder. And that feels really weird to say because even though I'm talking to a camera, I know I'm talking to a lot more than just a camera, because behind the camera ends up going into editing. And while my sister knows all of this, it's still weird because then after her, it gets uploaded to the world for everyone in the world to see. People try and gloss over it, and it's something that needs to be talked about, and I think it is getting talked about a lot more, especially because, you know, really prominent celebrities have come out and talked about theirs. Like, I know Demi Lovato has, and I think that's amazing. And I think it helps when people in that status talk about it, because it not normalizes it, but it makes you feel like you can talk about it. And so, today, I am going to be talking about my eating disorder. I really want to say this, that it's not for sympathy, it's not for views, it's not for anything like that. It's literally in the most simplistic form to help someone. Maybe it'll help 100 people, I don't know, maybe it'll help one. If it helps just one person, then like it at least helped someone, and that makes me feel better, and like I did something worthwhile, you know, and that I at least helped one person. So, my eating disorder started when I was around 14. I believe it started the summer before my freshman year of high school, so I was 13 going on 14. And I learned about eating disorders in like my psych classes, and after learning about it there, I remember in my intro to psych book it stated that it commonly occurs in young women more than men, but also it occurs when they hit puberty, because after puberty your body changes, you get curvier because you're naturally coming into things, your boobs, your butt, hips, things that you have, you know, and you're no longer, a lot of times it's because you're no longer like this slim little form that you used to have, and it can be damaging. But also usually it's combined by having people close to you say things, and that's what happened to me. It wasn't when I was 13. I had someone who is close to me in my life, and I'm moved past it because it took a lot, because you want to hold on to grudges and be angry at people who hurt you and people who say things who hurt you mentally, because it's a lot, and for me it was really damaging, and I blame a lot of what caused my eating disorder on this person. And I often think if they had never said these things to me, maybe I wouldn't have developed it, you know. But I also think that I don't want to say like I was meant to, but I think, I don't know, I just have a calling, you know. I just feel like I'm really meant to help other people who have an eating disorder. So I don't know if I am, but I think also, I mean, a lot of people probably disagree with me, but for me, I really have leaned heavily into my faith, and I don't think God could have given me something that I wouldn't handle. And I know that a lot of situations are different, so I don't like to speak about that on behalf of everyone, but for me, that's how I feel in my own personal situation. There are a lot of other situations that, you know, maybe that doesn't apply. When I was younger, I had a fast metabolism. I ate a lot because I burned it all off quickly. And one time someone who was close to me said things like, you're gonna be fat by 30, or if you keep eating like that, you're gonna get fat. And then when I got older, they would say like very similar things of like, oh, you're just eating so much, or you're eating too much, or are you really gonna eat, that sort of thing. And then like later when I was like teenager, like early adult, I remember one time I ate like ice cream, and it was like their idea to go get it, and they were like, oh, like you had ice cream, like you're gonna get fat by eating that, like look at you, you've already put some weight on by being in college. And like that hurt. And one time the person, like it was summer, I was in a bikini, and like they like literally pinched like my side, and they were like, oh, getting chubby, like trying to joke, but like, I mean, I had already developed it at that point, and to hear that, I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I getting chubby? So things like that. And one time I was like, oh, like, I've been working out, like, I have abs, and they were like, I mean, I guess, but like, they could be better, like, and like, touch, and they're like, yeah, they're hard, but you can't see them, so, or like, and just comments like that. My sister brought it up to this person, and you know, they were like, well, you know, I was always joking. I never thought you were taking it seriously. And like, I want to warn you guys that if you're making those comments to someone, even if you mean it jokingly, it can still be damaging. So I want you guys to know that no matter what your intention is behind the words, be careful with what you say, and be careful to the people you're talking to, because you never know what's happening to them. And it started with me eating less and less and working out more and more, as it commonly does for a lot of people. I realized about like a month or two into it that I was having these habits, and I recognized what they were. I recognized very quickly that they were signs of anorexia, and I told someone. I told my aunt, and I was like, I'm scared. I don't want to develop an eating disorder, but like, this is how I feel. This is how I feel when I look in the mirror. And excuse me, I just ate dinner. And this is why I'm doing it. And you know, she talked to me, and like, it helped me a lot. I think there's like a dead bug on my floor, so like, that's cute. And so that helped. And so throughout like the rest of high school, I think I did a relatively good job at not really developing it further, not letting it get too bad. I was active, but I also ate quite a bit. So I think I was burning the appropriate amount of calories for what I was intaking. And then I got to college. And college is where I would probably classify a downward spiral, mentally, and like, especially with the eating disorder. I never fully met the requirements to be anorexic. I would be classified as someone who has disordered eating patterns or disordered eating habits. someone who definitely is not eating correctly or working out in like the correct way, and has very similar patterns to an anorexic person, but I never weighed far enough below the criteria to meet anorexia standards. So if we're talking psychologically and those terms, I would be classified as a disordered eater, or someone with disordered eating patterns, habits. And I say that because I'll get into that, but freshman year, I definitely didn't gain like the freshman 15. Like, I didn't gain that. I probably gained like the freshman 3, but like 3 pounds on me sits very differently than how it might on someone else. And so by December of my freshman year, I was bigger than I think I had ever really been in my life. And like, if I have a picture, I'll like insert it. I might have deleted them because so self-conscious. But I mean, you know, it happens because I wasn't as active anymore. I was stressed more, and stress definitely does a lot of things to my body. I don't know if it does it to yours, but it does gross things to mine. All this acne, stress. Cute, right? To me, I thought I was like humongous. Like, I looked in the mirror and I was like, ew. Like I said, like, I really wasn't. Yeah, I had gained a little weight, but like, it wasn't bad. And you saw it in my face, and you could see it in like my stomach. But like I said, it really wasn't as bad as I think I made it out to be. I think a lot of times what comes with eating disorders, and specifically like anorexia or patterns like anorexia, is that you develop kind of like a body dysmorphia, where when you look in the mirror, you don't see what you really look like. You just don't. You see someone so much bigger. And if you watch like films about it, like where they go into treatment places, they'll like, I remember when I watched in like high school maybe, where they like showed a girl who had anorexia and they asked her to draw what she thought she looked like, and she made herself so much bigger. And body dysmorphia is like a big thing that coincides with anorexia. So I think I had a bit of that going on too. And I mean, even to this day, I still have some of that going on, which isn't good, but I think I do a lot better now at like counteracting that. So, but I started working out more and more in the spring semester, and then I liked a guy, as one does, and he was told, we talked for like, I don't know, like 2 days, and then like ghosted. Homeboy was like, peace. Which like I get, like we didn't know each other, like I get it now looking back. I'm like, girl, like, oof. But that for some reason just like sent me into like hell in my mind. I remember like I literally cried, I think, for like a month every night when I went to bed. So like, it's so stupid too. Like, don't cry over a guy for a month, and don't let a guy be the reason that your eating disorder gets worse, or that you start an eating disorder just because you're skinnier, and whatever. Like, it's not gonna make a guy like you more, okay? Like, don't do it. Take advice from me. It's not healthy. You're worth more. You are worth more than what your mind is telling you. So much more. And then I was exercising a lot, like so much. I remember that summer I exercised like twice a day, and it wasn't like, it started out with like easy workouts that I would just do, one in the morning, one at night, and then it like progressed into more and more, just in the hopes of like praying like I would get skinnier, that I'd be more attractive. If I could just do this, I'd be more attractive. Like, why is this not working? And that was my mindset. If I could get skinny, then I would be attractive and worth something. Not true. Again, you're worth so much more than that. So much more. And I wish, like, if you are struggling with this, I wish I could just hug you, because I've been there. I know what it feels like, and it's awful, but you're strong. You're gonna get through it. That guy sucks, and you'll find someone better. But, and then sophomore year was the worst year mentally that I had ever been in, and I might ever be in my life. I classify that as my rock bottom. I was a mess. I was in the gym every day running on little to nothing in my stomach. And there were days I couldn't look in the mirror. Like, I hated so much what I saw that I couldn't do it. Like, I saw someone so much bigger than who I was. And it's like really sad to look back on. And I so often look back and think of her, think of that girl who was me, and I just want to hug her and tell her that she's not who she's seen in the mirror. She's not anything that her mind is telling her or the voices in her head are telling her, because I remember there were days I couldn't bear to look in the mirror because I hated so much who was in it, and I hated the things I saw and the imperfections that I saw. But I remember literally my dinner every night that year, or when I was in the dining hall, was a scoop of hummus, 3 to 4 of like the tiny little pita triangle things that were like that big, if that, and then a handful of broccoli and water. That is what I ate every night that year, both fall and spring semester. Maybe I had a bowl of cereal, maybe, but like that would maybe be a brunch thing on a weekend. I look back and like sometimes I'm like, why did no one say anything to me? But I mean, I was also putting up this front that I think hid it so well from other people, and I still do that, not with the eating disorder, but with my life. I hide things very well behind a front, to where people are like, oh my gosh, like you seem so perfect, like you just have your life perfectly together, and like I don't, but I'm very good at just like putting up a wall and a front and being like, yeah, like everything's fine, and like truly being able to act like it is. That year I also vividly remember being in the gym, and I was running on the treadmill, and because I had eaten so little, I think all I had had that day was a cup of coffee and maybe like a banana or something, but like nothing substantial, nothing that could hold me over. And if I had that in the morning, it was now like 2 p.m. and I was running full out on the treadmill, and I remember kind of like everything being like hazy, not like I was literally about to pass out. I wanted to vomit, and I just remember thinking, if I pass out in the gym, how embarrassing is that? Because people will know something is wrong. And I remember like stopping and like just standing over the treadmill, trying to catch my breath because I felt like I couldn't breathe, and just trying to be like, don't pass out, don't pass out, don't pass out. And like no one looked at me, because you know, you go to the gym and no one literally cares. If you ever need motivation to go to the gym, no one cares. They're only thinking about themselves. And I was like, I can't pass out, I can't pass out, I can't pass out, because then people will know. People will know if you pass out. They'll start asking questions. You can't have people ask questions. If they ask questions, they'll find out. That was literally what was running through my head. Almost passed out again, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, like, even though I didn't get the workout and I thought I needed, like, I don't want to pass out and have people ask questions. So, left. And that was, I made sure to eat a little more just so that that wouldn't happen again. But yeah, that was a time. You know, that was literally about the rest of my year, was me not eating really, working out way too much. And then I learned in my psych class, we had a unit because it was abnormal psych, and we learned about eating disorders, and that's when I learned about disordered eating. And I remember like my hands just like shaking, and when she was talking about anorexia and disordered eating, like my hands were shaking, and I was like getting hot, and I was like having a panic attack, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is me. Like, what if someone like makes the connection, that, you know, draws 2 and 2 together, connects the dots, like freaking out. And I just remember like having a full-on like anxiety attack when I left class, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I think hearing those words made me realize that, you know, not everything was okay, as I kept trying to play off, and I think I had like convinced myself of. Ooh. But yeah, that was probably like the rest of my sophomore year of college was just me downward spiraling. And I still have pictures, and if you look at it, like, I am so skinny. Like, literally my legs are like the size of a toothpick, and like my arms are literally the size of a toothpick. And it's like concerning when I look back on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was so tiny, and like I would look in the mirror and I thought I was like on my 500, what's the show, my 400 pound, my 500 pound life? That show, I don't know, where like they can't do anything with this. That's what I was seeing in the mirror, was like my 500 pound life. Like I was nowhere near that at all. So I don't know what I was thinking. I do know what I was thinking, I just had a very damaged mental image of myself. But yeah, that was my sophomore year, where it was literally my worst year mentally ever. And then I moved into junior year, and the summer between sophomore and junior year was when my sister told the person what they had done, and because she told the person, I then told my mom, because I was afraid that that person would tell my mom. And so that started, I think, my recovery. I never fully went to recovery. So like I never went to like a place to recover. I've kind of done it by myself and learned, I think, what works for me. And I'm not saying that like don't go to recovery, like you don't need it. Like if you are so bad that like if you have an eating disorder, I recommend that you go and seek help. Go talk to someone, a trusted friend, relative, a therapist if you want to tell someone that's not family or a friend or who knows you personally. Like, go see a therapist, call a hotline. Like, I so encourage you to seek out help, because I'm not here to tell you I didn't go to recovery. So like no. If you need recovery, you need recovery, and you need like a professional staff who can be there for you, who can help give you like tips and tricks to do things. Like, please go and seek that out if you need it. I think my thing was also like I didn't want other people to ask questions in my family or friends who didn't know, but I was so mad at my sister for telling this person, and I was so angry, and I was like why would you do that? I wasn't ready. But I think it's honestly the best thing that has ever happened to me was her telling them, because it had me open up to my mom. It had me open up to my friends who didn't know. Because only like 2 people knew that are like in my friend group. And it's been life-changing for me that she did it. So like, thank you, Becca, for doing that. I don't know if I've ever told you thank you, but thank you, because it honestly helped me so much. Because I was able to tell people. Junior year and senior year have both been full of recovery. So 20 and 21 have been full of me trying to get better, stronger, not moving past the obstacles in my mind that keep me back. I'm not saying I'm better 100% or perfect or fully recovered, because I'm not, and that'd be a lie to tell you. I still have a lot of days where I look in the mirror and I hate the person who stares back at me. I hate her, and I want to punch the mirror because I hate her so much. But I also know that those days aren't my end-all be-all. I know that on those days, the things I'm thinking aren't the things that I am. That the voices in my head that tell me I'm ugly or fat, or I need to be skinnier, or no one's gonna love me because I'm not skinny enough. They're wrong. And I think I do better at being able to tell myself that. Not identify and define myself by my eating disorder, which I think I did a lot in prior years. Which isn't great, because you aren't your eating disorder. You aren't whatever's wrong with you. You're a lot more than that. You have more identity than just that. So I'm like looking because I'm trying to make sure you're not like too cockeyed. Like I said, if you are struggling with this, feel free to reach out to me. You can DM me on any social media platform. And if you need just someone to talk to, I'm here. I would love to talk to you. I love talking to people who have also struggled with eating disorders, who are currently struggling with them. And need someone to just talk to about it because they don't feel like they can go to someone else. I'm fine being that person. I would love to be that person for you. I can't take the place of a therapist or a trained professional. But if you need a first step and you don't know who to go to because you don't want anyone in your personal life to find out, please, please, please DM me about it. I would love, love, love to talk to you. And I love all of you, no matter what you've gone through, what you've struggled through mentally, whatever you identify yourself as when it comes to like some sort of mental health issue. You're not that. I can promise you, you're worth a lot more. You have a lot more beautiful traits and qualities, or handsome. I mean, I think guys can be beautiful too. So like, my socials are in the description box below. They'll be at the end of this video. Please reach out. Please do. I'll put hotlines in the description box for you to check out if you need someone else to talk to and you don't feel comfortable coming to me. Like, I want, if you're watching this and you struggle with it, and you feel like you need to reach out and get help, to please do that. I wrote something around Christmas and I sent it to my friend, and I want to read it to you because it kind of describes this whole situation, and it was made to describe the situation because I felt like if I could just put into words, I could make this video easier. So I want to read this to you for the end of the video, and so I'm looking down to read it. I'm sorry if I don't make as much eye contact. I don't have it memorized. But here we go. It says, I've decided that if I can do anything in my life, I would like to help change other people's lives. I hope to do that now by sharing my story, and maybe it'll only reach one person with this message, but that's one person more than who wouldn't have been reached if I had sat here and kept quiet and never told my own personal story of my struggles with mental health and of my battle with an eating disorder. I want to give a disclaimer that I'm not sharing this for any sort of sympathy or for looks of pity. I've decided to share this because recently I've had this feeling that maybe this is my life path and my purpose. That by reaching out and telling this story to the public, I'll find that path. So, said I have an obsession with being skinny. An obsession that turned into years and years of struggling with an eating disorder. Years and years of never wanting to eat too much being a normal amount for everyone else. Years and years of obsessively working out on little to nothing at all in my stomach, praying that I would finally love the girl I saw in the mirror. Years of thinking I was okay because I was never so far under a normal weight to be classified as anorexic, and because no one was saying anything. Years and years of thinking that I was unworthy because I wasn't my desired body shape, truly believing that the reason no one wanted to date me was because of my weight. That it made me undesirable because I wasn't skin and bones. Things took a turn my sophomore year of college. I hated looking in the mirror. I hated what I saw because even though I was losing weight, all I saw was someone so much bigger than what I really was. It was when I finally realized that I had let this disease take over my life and that I was no longer in control as I once thought I was. It took almost passing out in the gym for me to realize that I wasn't okay. It took learning about disordered eating in my abnormal psych class with my hands shaking and breath short to realize I wasn't okay. I look back on photos from that year and I see an unhealthy, skinny girl, I look back on photos from that year and see how unhealthily skinny I was, and I feel heartbroken for that girl. Heartbroken that she let comments from others and this unreal belief that she would be perfect if she was skinny rule her life to such an unhealthy point. Heartbroken she thought she struggled alone and that no one understood. So many of you have struggled through the same issues, and I promise you that you aren't alone, and that those voices that rule your thoughts day and night, that they tell you lies and that they destroy you. They whisper harmful and dangerous promises that will never be true. You will never find that so-called happiness in being skinny because you will never, ever, ever be skinny enough or pretty enough to make those voices in your head happy. They will hurt you until there's nothing left of you, until they have destroyed every last bit of you, and you have withered away into nothing. Or until you've damaged your body so far beyond repair. I'm not here to pretend like I'm any better than you, or that I have it all figured out. Or that I've even overcome my own issues, because none of that's true. I'm not better than anyone else going through this. I don't have this all figured out, nor have I overcome my own issues completely. I still have days or weeks, sometimes even months, where I hate the woman that I see in the mirror, where I can't stand to look at myself, where I still constrict my food intake, where I still work out obsessively and I think that I'm fine. But I also have a new voice in my head, one that counteracts the harmful ones. One that now reminds me that it's okay to not be perfect. One that reminds me I'm beautiful and crafted in my God's image. One that tells me it's okay to have a slice of cake and enjoy every single last bite because it's cake, and who doesn't love cake? One that reminds me that it's okay to miss a gym day or 2 or 3 and that it's not the end of the world. One that tells me I have a voice and I should use it to help others who deal with the same things that I go through. I can't tell you that this disease goes away, because I'm not really sure that it does. But I can tell you that it gets easier once you reach out for help, once you find people who love and care for you and want to watch you truly get better. Loved ones that are those positive voices on the days the ones in your head aren't working. I encourage you all today to reach out to your friends and family for help, or others you know who have gone through this. If you're someone who doesn't struggle with this, but you think a friend or a loved one might, please reach out and ask if they need a shoulder to lean on right now. Or you can send them my way, as I've recently learned that I absolutely love talking to others who struggle with an eating disorder or other mental health issues, and talking to them when they struggle or need help. I ask, though, at the very least, please reach out to friends who look like they're struggling with something, because I promise you that it won't go unnoticed. Also, if I can leave you with any real lasting impression, I ask you to remember this, what I'm about to say to you right now. I know we all struggle in today's world with how social media seems to define us and how we view ourselves. When you're scrolling through Instagram looking enviously at whatever pretty girl is in your feed, please think about how it's so much better to remember it as having a pretty heart and being a person who is kind, compassionate, and smart. Wouldn't you rather be remembered as someone who's boasted for having the most gorgeous heart of anyone that they had ever met, over being remembered for looks that will one day fade away? While looks may fade, a pretty heart will always stay the same. And I know a lot of people know this, and they talk about it a lot now, which is good. But the things you see on social media aren't always true. We literally just show the perfect parts of our lives. You're only catching like 0.1% of what happens in a lot of these people's lives. So don't think that their lives are perfect or put together and that yours is falling apart. I know it's easy to look at on Instagram and look at all the Instagram babes and be jealous, but I think that no matter what your body type or what you look like, I don't have to know you to know that you're beautiful. I know that you already are. And I know you may not think that's true, or you may think that I'm lying or whatever, but I promise you 100% that I promise you 100% that you are absolutely stunning and gorgeous and amazing, and that no one can ever take your good, beautiful traits and qualities about you away from you, and that you should never let your eating disorder damper those things or put them out, because I think everyone has a fire behind them and something that they're meant to do, and things about them that make them absolutely gorgeous, even if they aren't society's standard of pretty or gorgeous or beautiful. I think everyone has something about them that just makes them absolutely stunning, and I hope and I pray and I just ask that, you know, you try and find that, because even if you don't know what it is, there are probably people in your life who do, and who can tell you what about you makes you so stunning. I know this was a really serious video, and it may be awkward and uncomfortable for some people, but if you've made it through it and this helped you, I can't be more thankful than to know that. I'm not going to ask you guys to do any of the regular things, because that just seems gross to do on this sort of video. But I just hope that you all have an amazing rest of your week, your day, your lives. I hope your lives are everything that you've imagined it to be. All the best things that you've ever pictured. I hope that's what you get out of life. And I hope that you realize that every single one of you watching this is just absolutely breathtaking and stunning. I love you guys, and I hope that you just have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys. In other news, this goes not along with the video at all, but I just found that Dr. Mike was single. I found out that he was single again because I was watching his keto video, and he said that he was single. He was coming through a breakup, and I was like, what?